If there was ever a chance for a second season of Digital Circus, the fandom killed it completely. And yes, I know officially no one said Season 2 will be announced on such and such date. But believe me, that Season 2 felt like something very real, and there is plenty of evidence to confirm it. But today we're going to talk about how the fandom ruined this possible Season 2 and any Digital Circus sequels. Let's go! When it premiered, everyone saw the show as an animation for the whole family, with exaggerated, colorful characters and a world that looks very similar to what you'd find in any 3D Disney Junior show. But as the episodes of Digital Circus went on, you realized more and more that it wasn't made for just anyone. It keeps getting darker, more mature, and with messages that not every little kid is going to understand. And that was the intention from the beginning. The story, the episodes, and even the ending were already planned before Digital Circus even premiered. So, how can you create more episodes if your main idea doesn't connect as much with the audience anymore? Besides, we're not talking about random adventures where you can just have fun watching the funny things the characters do. That's not the essence of the Digital Circus. In every episode, we used to discover a dark secret or mystery about the characters, but now I don't really see that as possible anymore. Let's go back to January 2023. Gooseworks, the creator, posted the following.
I just woke up, but wow, I can finally talk about the amazing Digital Circus.
And 3 years later, she posted the following.
I wouldn't touch this franchise again with a 10-foot pole.
Wow, imagine that. The creator gradually lost interest in the Digital Circus, and it wasn't because she got bored of it. But, as many already know, it was because of the way the fandom reacted to anything they didn't like about the Digital Circus. And even though she sometimes said she didn't care what others said about her series, it seemed like she did care. A lot. To the point that she deleted her own Reddit account so she wouldn't see any more comments about the series. So, even though the Digital Circus has the potential to continue with more episodes, if the creator is no longer comfortable or doesn't have any more patience, then how are there going to be more episodes? And the problem wasn't that the fans complained about the character designs or that they had an interesting idea for the show. The problem was that the fandom went directly against the creator, as if looking for someone to blame. They weren't complaining to the company or to a group of writers, they were only complaining to the creator. And at that point, they weren't just talking about the circus, they were also talking about Gooseworks. She was just giving her honest opinion about circus topics, and the fandom would immediately attack her just for giving a normal human opinion. Just imagine being personally attacked every day for several seasons. Honestly, I don't think anyone could endure that for a long time. And all of this happened to the point where he said he was considering not returning to the franchise when it was over. The image we saw at the beginning, that one, has a lot of history behind it. But what stands out to me the most is the leak. The early leak of episode 9 of the Digital Circus by the Brazilian dubbing studio. Fans started asking Gooseworks what they thought about the situation, if they were going to do something about it, and their response was simple. Who cares? 2 words, and they were enough to spark another firestorm. Suddenly, people started saying that she didn't care about her own show anymore, that she didn't respect the fans, that she was being ungrateful to the community that had made her famous. Some even canceled their tickets to see the finale. But here's something a lot of people forget. Gooseworks, she didn't leak the episode. She had nothing to do with it, and yet she ended up being the person who got most of the attacks. By that point, it already seemed like the problem was no longer the Digital Circus. The problem was Gooseworks and the fandom. The attack was so extreme that even on Blue Sky, a much smaller platform that many people consider less toxic than Twitter, within a matter of hours, she found herself facing exactly the same problems she was trying to leave behind. And that's when a post appeared that caught the attention of a lot of people. Honestly, I can't keep my heart in this anymore. It has become much bigger than me. And actually, that sentence seems much more important to me than the leak itself, because a leak, of course, can be forgotten. An argument on the internet, too. But when the creator of a series starts talking like that about her own creation, we're already talking about something completely different. And after reading all that, it's hard to imagine Gooseworks sitting down excitedly to plan a second season. Because honestly, The Amazing Digital Circus still seems like the kind of series that could last for years. It has deep characters, unresolved mysteries, and a practically infinite universe. And after episode 9, many of those questions are still unanswered. There's still material for another season. Practically, Gooseworks has the possibility to do more, but I also don't think all the blame falls on the fandom. And I know that's probably going to bother some people. Because yes, the attacks did happen, there were people acting like idiots, and a large part of the community ended up turning any discussion into a war. But Gooseworks still had an option. To step away, close social media, ignore comments, or simply stop reading what people were saying. After all, no one was deciding the story for her. No one wrote episode 9 or made the important decisions for the series. All of that was still under her control. That's why I think the real reason why there won't be a season 2 spin-offs or any kind of continuation lies somewhere in the middle. The fandom helped create the problem, but Gooseworks didn't do much to distance herself from it either. And after years of that wear and tear, we've ended up exactly where we are today. And after episode 9, there were several open storylines, mysteries, and enough ideas to keep expanding this universe for years. That's why so many people keep talking about a second season. Not because the show feels unfinished, but because it still feels like a world with much more to tell. And honestly, I don't think the Digital Circus has run out of stories, nor do I think Gooseworks has run out of ideas. What seems to have run out was their patience. And that's what makes this whole situation so horrible. Because if we ever see a second season, more spin-offs, or even a continuation, it will be made by someone else. It won't be because the Digital Circus needed to keep existing. Maybe Gooseworks will sell the rights to Netflix, or to someone she knows can continue the story without making it feel forced, or who can adapt it without losing its essence. It won't be Gooseworks anymore. So tell me, did the fandom really ruin the future of the Digital Circus? Or did Gooseworks simply get tired of everything that came with success?